Hello, and welcome to Peaches and Suits, a podcast where, well, you know the drill. This is episode 10, and Chaos is recording the intro alone because we split this editing process into two parts.
I don't know. 506?
What?
Carla von Lahnstein?
So.
Ah.
Y juntas somos parceres.
Lexa and I... Lexa. Oh my fucking God.
So, Next Generation. We have, basically a continuation of the same generation we were just in, but these are all currently still airing. So it's like, maybe they started in 2020. Maybe they start... The oldest one would be Mariah and Tessa from Young and the Restless. I barely think that they're still a couple. I mean, they are, but they're getting such shit screen time. I quit watching them in 2018, so I've only known what's happening through Twitter.
Me too. Ditto.
But I have to say, I made my Twitter account, Shippy Chaos, was invented right at the beginning of the fervor of Mariah and Tessa to Raya. And I even made a whole YouTube edit, my first and only ever music video edit of this couple, because I was absolutely fucking gone for these two. I was so obsessed. I have to say, I'm not even sad. I kind of just let it peter out. I didn't get super frustrated. I just kind of was like, oh, they were off the show for quite a while. I want to say it was almost a year even. I don't remember what it was. There was quite a long gap where they were off the show, and at that point I quit watching and then didn't go back. But basically, soap opera, American soap opera, lots of super drama. I mean, they were dating each other's boyfriend. No. They both had boyfriends. Tessa was dating Mariah's brother, Noah.
Yes.
I have to say, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Cameron Grimes. She was on the show for a very long time. She used to play a different character. They killed off that character and brought her back as the twin, but it's still the same actress. And she's just phenomenal.
She's good.
Absolutely fucking incredible. I know that a lot of actors get kind of quote unquote get their start in soap operas and all that, and I wish the best things for her, because she is, besides being incredibly beautiful, which everyone on soap operas is very beautiful, she is so gifted. I mean, she does that thing that I talked about, Bhavna, where she cries and she looks, it's haunting you for forever. And she has Mariah has a coming out scene where she is trying to explain to her mom how she feels about coming out. I just can't. It was so good. It was so good. And
so touched.
I'm afraid of celebrities. I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but I don't like to @ anyone, and I get very terrified whenever anyone @ anyone near any of my tweets. And so, but I did comment, and I think I added Cameron Grimes when that scene aired, because she needed to know that it was just phenomenal. It was so good. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find just the coming out scene by Googling Mariah coming out, Young and the Restless. And she did win an Emmy, actually. I want to say that year that happened, she won the Emmy.
Yeah. Well,
so good. I mean,
that
just
other scene
so
with
good.
with Tessa when she's speaking to her, because they've been dancing around it, not really talking about it. Do you remember? And they're at the bar thing, and she sort of is laying it all out there to Tessa, because she's pissed off as well at Tessa's behavior at the time.
She's kind of going. Tessa's leading her on and going back and forth and still dating her brother, and it's just she's being a little bit oh, this is not great. It wasn't very kind, honestly. But Mariah finally, kind of is
again, it's just, but as you say, she's just a phenomenal actress. I got to say, I felt so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, in the height of it all, oh God, thank God we've got this bird. Oh my gosh, she's
thank God we've got this bird.
We've got this bird on this ride, because Chaos said, again, it's one of those instances of okay, I'm camping here. I'm setting up camp for the long haul, and this is going to be one of those could be one of the greats for me. It was really, because again, it was slow burn. And then I didn't even mind the brother and, how we're going to, all that
Devon,
drama.
or whatever his name was, the
Yeah.
other boyfriend. I have to
Devon.
say, I actually really liked all of the beginning of their storyline.
Yeah,
I loved the
it.
slow burn. It had all the things that you and I both really love. The slow burn, the like, we can't be together, and like, I'm dating your brother, and like, no, I'm not gay, and like, we're just friends, and all this stuff. And then like, I have to also, in a similar way that I really love the Ana and Teresa kiss, the like big epic fight kiss.
Yeah.
Mariah and Tessa's first kiss, super chaste. I mean, like, it's barely like their lips touch, kind of like twice. There is something about that scene that just fucking kills me.
The way Mariah looks at her.
It's Mariah. It's the way that Cameron Grimes acted that whole fucking scene. She was like desperate. Like, it was like, imagine that you have been loving someone from afar for so long, and suddenly they're like right there, and they're not moving away, and they're lingering in this space where you like could kiss, and then she leans in and she kisses her, and like she still doesn't pull away. It's a fucking dream.
It is. And I'm going to say,
dream.
In reference to the beginning as well, the almost kiss before, not long, was it? It wasn't long before
on
then.
the couch.
Yes. Oh my God,
pulls
what
her
a
hair
scene.
back
It's
and touches
absolutely
her cheek.
Brilliant. Oh my God. Tessa.
That was great on Tessa's part, actually, and Mariah.
So good. Yeah. Oh, and the way the camera lingered and the lighting. It was
my
just
God,
such
everything.
that was
so soft and
exquisite.
angsty at the same time. It was so good.
And actually, speaking of like with Paula and Carol, I feel like that a bit with Cameron and Kate, in that they both seem so natural together. Like, even if I've gone back and seen scenes of them, of recent years and stuff, like, again, they seem so comfortable in each other's company. And I remember even at the beginning, they seemed to really get along, and they seemed like a riot together. And just, again, the way they kiss and touch each other, it's just like, absolutely, seems the most natural thing to them. So I'm kind of gutted. Yeah.
So I'm a little. Actually, I'm not. I actually found the transition out of them being on the show. I lost interest, and I think it's fine when it's dramatic. Like, okay, so with Kate and Rana, right? That was trauma, right? Like, that was bad. Same thing with Aurora and Celia for me. Like, it almost kind of feels better to me when the storyline is just shit.
Yeah.
And they slowly kind of go into the ether. I mean, like, technically Mariah and Tessa are still on Young and the Restless.
Yeah.
These actors are still working, and I don't care anymore. Like, I know that that's probably not great for them. That like they're now acting in a storyline that is shit and no one really wants to watch it. But at least in that way, I wasn't traumatized as a viewer per se. I was disappointed, but like, I'm not gonna hold on to it for the rest of my life and feel the way that I do about like Peppa and Sylvia, for example.
Well, I think it's just that. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's good in a sense. It's just a bit baffling. I've not really had this where I've been so into a pairing and then it hasn't sort of happened for me, because I say they're off screen and the writing, etc.
Yes, it does. You stop watching shit all the time. Come on. Steph, calling your bluff. Come on.
Yeah, maybe so.
Charity
all right, I'll
and
lend that
Vanessa
there.
As another good example of that.
Oh, yeah. But
technically, they're still on there.
And I'll still sort of watch it, if you know what I mean.
You said you're not. Come on.
No, I don't know. But that's because it's just on telly here. Like, I haven't got to do anything, Yeah, all right. Scratch it. Remember, don't trust a word I say. Right. Okay, so
technically, the Louis Melia has a new show. So technically, they're in our new generation as well, because technically there's a new season coming.
Yeah. I see what she's done here. Yeah.
I put them. It's technically a different show. So
No, it's true.
So we don't really need to say anything.
No,
they took the same characters, they put them in their own spin-off. They have a show called Lumelia something, and it's like a more contemporary version of these same characters being a couple together with some other things happening around them.
No, yeah.
It's a subscription thing. I have never watched it. I also never watched Amar para Siempre. I watched, Amar en Tiempos Revueltos because of Ana and Teresa. I know that there's like a connection between, I think it's Manolita or whatever.
Yeah, Manolita.
The mom of...
Oh, she's a mother of...
character?
Yeah, Luisita, yeah.
Anyway, but I haven't watched the show. So that's all. I think that's all we need to say about that.
Yeah, no.
Moving on. Sorry.
I'm going to push Chaos to go to New Zealand.
Let's go to New Zealand.
Because we know Chaos
we have two couples there.
We both, can I just say, Chaos and I, we both know where we're finishing today.
Are we finishing with you or are we finishing with me? Because I have a lot to say.
I don't know. This is an episode in itself. I don't mind splitting it like we did with the married woman, if you want to.
It might be hard to. We'll see. Okay,
we'll see.
Let's just keep going and
see
what happens.
See what happens.
Let's go to New Zealand. Fuck New Zealand, first of all. Sorry. So let's start with Nicole and Maeve. Nicole, our resident bisexual on Shortland Street, is a nurse. And I think she's like the head nurse, actually. I don't really know the details there, but she's rather in charge of things, scheduling and such. Shut up, Steph is like cracking up. It's not even funny.
Rather in charge. Without a badge. Rather in charge.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of tipping the velvet note right now where she's like, I'm rather shy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
She's
God.
rather shy. Rather shy. Okay. Okay, we're not singing today. I'm going to continue talking about Nicole and Maeve. So Maeve is a character who's brought on recently. I want to say 2020? 2020, actually. It was a recent development. I remember it might have been really early 2020, like January. And I remember because I was still reeling from this Zara thing, which ended in 2019. And I was like, because Zara is still very prevalent. Like she's I don't know the terminology, but main character on the show. And so I was like, kind of holding out hope that maybe she'll come back. Maybe Nicole and Zara will rekindle their whatever. And nope, Maeve shows up and she's a lesbian, which is great. Because then I was like, well, know exactly what's going to happen with that one. And Nicole, I think, is dealing with maybe some PTSD at the time because like some really traumatic shit has been happening to her. And I think it's because when the character, like you said about, is it Mariah and Tessa you were talking about? In general, when a character's on a show for a very long time, you have
Charity.
Charity. Oh, they start throwing like more and more ridiculous storylines at them. And I mean, Nicole is like in 5 car crashes, like over the course of how long she's on this fucking show.
She's not even old yet. And
yeah, I know she's like, so so she and her son are hit by a bus. And so there's this like, oh God, it kind of makes sense. And I was rewatching this recently and thinking, why are they all getting hit by cars? Why is it always a car crash? And then I realized it's a hospital drama. So in order for the people to end up in the hospital where the whole show takes place, there has to be some impetus or some injury. Anyway, so that's what the car crash is. So Nicole has all this trauma. I'm pretty sure it's having to do with her being hit by a bus with her son. Everyone survives, it's fine, but she's not quite like ready. There was something else, actually. There's some other trauma there, and I don't remember what it was. But she's not ready for a relationship for some reason. She's very hesitant. So Maeve like is interested in her, and Nicole kind of is interested in her, but they kind of have a really rough go of it in the beginning because Nicole is having panic attacks. And she like kisses her. Maeve kisses Nicole for the first time, and she has like a panic attack, and it's like, oh, ew, maybe we shouldn't be together. I can't even kiss you. Fast forward about a year later, now they're married. It's great. But the most important part is that in the process of Nicole and Maeve getting married, Maeve's mother, Rosalind, arrives on the show. And Steph's rolling her eyes and shaking her head.
It's all right.
Rosalind is maybe the most beautiful woman ever to be on a television program from the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, Southern Hemisphere, getting really specific.
I'm just trying, I can't be too bold of brush strokes here. Yeah. So we'll say Southern Hemisphere. She's very pretty. And she whooshes in, and she's got this ridiculous hat and this several dresses. And anyway, Leanne, who is Nicole's mother. So if you remember, Nicole and Maeve are married. And Leanne is Nicole's mother, and Roz is Maeve's mother. And Rosalind and Leanne have a bit of a tiff in the beginning because they're both the mothers of the brides, and they like don't agree about a lot of things and blah blah blah.
Leanne's a lot.
Leanne is who does she remind you of? What's another soap character? It's not Charity. No. It's kind of almost Charity level though. She's got a lot of like.
I mean, she's realistic.
So dramatic.
There are women of that age as well that like for how many people will know? Who are just like this?
Yes, it's over the top, so dramatic. Everything is a huge imposition. Even the slightest inconvenience is like.
But you still love her anyway.
And and the funny thing is, I was thinking about this. They've developed her character kind of very subtly as she's grown into being sapphic. She's now like comic relief. Before she was like, it's meant to be funny how over the top she is, but she's actually offensive. Before she was like biphobic. She was always saying really shitty things to Nicole about you don't fucking choose, like you ruining your marriage and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she's got all these opinions about like when Nicole and Zara were together, and Leanne was like, oh, actually, I approve because she's a doctor, fame, money, everything.
Yeah, she doesn't sound very likable. I was reading about it. Yeah.
I just found out this week, Jennifer Ludlam, the woman who plays Leanne, is a lesbian. Let that sink in. Anyway, you know what is so funny? I'm gonna go scroll back and try and find my tweets. I'm pretty sure I was like, look at Leanne going for it. Like, she looks so comfortable for someone like of that age who like is, I assumed she was heterosexual. And I was like, damn, she's like going for it. Like,
oh, I should have known.
Good for her.
As soon as I saw Jennifer in that suit in a play, I should have known.
Jesus Christ.
Can
we post some of those photos, please?
If you want to. You go for
Can we, if I send them to you, will you put it into the YouTube?
Oh, she wants me to put it in the YouTube video.
I don't know. I'm just saying people need to see how hot this woman is. She's like 70.
Oh,
70.
Yeah.
I think she's
70s, man.
I think she is 70.
Yeah.
Fuck. In a suit. And a lesbian. Win for the gays. Okay.
Chaos, like...
Yeah. So the story I haven't even talked about. I've just gone on about Leanne, but Rosalind and Leanne have this sort of like, it's not a slow burn so much as it's like a hate enemies to lovers, which is another trope that I really like. They're physically fighting at one point. There's a scene where like Leanne is worried for Nicole's safety, and Maeve was also. They're in a fucking car crash. Nicole and Maeve are in a car crash on their wedding day. And both mothers are fighting over which daughter gets the care first in the hospital. It's called triage. Anyway, so they get into like almost like a fist fight. They're like, like gonna get into a fight. And I think I love that kind of physical comedy. I think Leanne, Jennifer Ludlam, just ace, absolutely amazing at this. I love it so much. So from that point. Suddenly there's this like admission on their Christmas episode the second part of their Christmas episode. And Leanne is like,
Rosalind, little sneak.
oh God, I don't know. I'm not settled in my relationship. She's with a man who's like rather boring. Don't even remember his name, but she's basically telling Roz like, oh, I don't know. I just am so conflicted. I have these like, I'm basically, she's bored. She feels kind of lonely. And she's like, I have these weird crushes. And she talks about having a crush on Taylor Swift, which I was like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's a cougar. And then she's like, and also you. And Rosalind's like, oh, haha. And then they kiss, and it's like interrupted by this man who Leon's dating dying. And I'm not going to recap the whole show for you guys. I really want to because it's so good.
She really could.
I could give you a play-by-play, but I will not. So they end up getting together, and then there's all the drama of like, you're two mothers, right? It's literally like these two women just got married, Nicole and Maeve, and now their mothers are dating. And I'm sure that's like the most obscene. How do you, I mean, I actually had a talk with my girlfriend. I was like, when this storyline started happening, I think it was January, or December, maybe December.
Yeah.
I had a talk with my girlfriend. I was like, can you imagine our mothers getting together? And we had a little laugh about it. And I was like, I mean, my mom is like the most heterosexual woman, but like, I don't know, maybe like, how would we feel about it? It's just like, and anyway, it's so, I find it interesting. I want to say it's unique, but given what we've talked about in the earlier part of the episode about dating mothers, I'm going to say it's not.
No,
although
but this is so specific.
No, but this is the first time it's both moms together.
Yeah, it's its own. I've not seen this before.
It's so good. Oh God, I was so excited because it's like two women over 50. In fact, a woman in her like late 50s and a woman in her 70s. Like, it's just, you never see this. And I know someone wrote back and was like, oh yeah, there's one other couple. And I'm like, one other couple in all of the world, of all of the television. Like, oh God, I just want more of it. I want it more. I want to see it.
Yeah, if you think I'm into older women, Chaos, oh my God, she's
At least Rosalind is younger than my mother. Can't say the same for you.
No. But I will say, yeah, for poor Chaos, that Rosalind's been missing in the wild for some time. So
I wish I kind of, you know how soaps give spoilers and stuff? Or like, you know how we knew about Bhavna wanting to be written off the show? I haven't seen any of that. Like, nobody's explained why Teresa Healy's been written off. She just kind of like was sidelined, and I'm sure she had a guest role. I know she wasn't like officially on the show. So sure, she didn't get a contract or whatever, but like there's been no explanation of like, how can you have a character technically be a character still? You know, she didn't get killed off. She's got a florist shop. She opened a florist shop in town, and you know, Leanne delivers her flowers all the time. So it's like she's still there. Like, you know, Leanne talks about her recently. She just mentioned, you know, the woman I'm with, and I'm, you know, late in life lesbian and all this stuff. And it's just like, feels a little weird that it was so good and then it very abruptly.
Only in soaps could you have this, really.
It's so sad.
Because I feel like with a TV series or something, you'd get more reasoning or
God,
you know,
watch them bring her back as like a different actress. I will fucking riot. This is such a soap thing to do. I will go. I'm gonna fly to New Zealand and picket somewhere.
She's chill now.
It's really hard to fly to New Zealand right now. I'm not gonna do that. But anyway,
she's chill now because she's in Chile. If she wasn't in Chile, as I said, I don't know how she'd be. But
I had a moment of chill, and now I'm actually pretty angry again.
Yeah, so talking about it, rehashing those old wounds.
It came up to me because this is a weird thing. I'm not really sure how Twitter works, but occasionally some of my really old tweets get attention. So they
Oh,
end up
yeah.
in my notification. I mean, it's something from like 2017 occasionally comes up, and I'm like, how on earth did you find this? Like, what is this? And so I saw someone had liked some Leanne and Rosalind content, and I was like furious again. Yeah, I can't believe this, that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
so that was New Zealand. Fuckers.
Oh, see, this is like therapy for both of us.
It
Obviously.
really is. So let's kind of skate over Ana Mariana. Ana
Yeah.
Mariana, they have a new season. They finished filming, I think, already. So
Yeah.
season 2 is coming out soon.
Can't wait. Thank you, Mexico. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Viva Mexico.
Yeah, no.
We'll see
cannot
how
wait
we
for
feel
that.
about that after.
So excited.
Maybe we won't celebrate if it's like.
Oh, but just from
completely
those little spoilers, though.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Maybe. We'll see. Did you see the thing about how
It
they
was
were
the
like.
script bit. that
Yeah,
got me.
they had blocked out like strategic parts of the script.
I'm
It's
still
like
gonna
more
be
than a business together.
excited. Come on. Yeah.
Didn't we call that, by the way? Didn't we say they were going to do...
You. I think it was you. I'll full credit. Full credit.
Okay,
Chaos.
we're going to block out
Right.
that and
So
say that
I
we
think
talked
that-
about them.
I
That
think
leaves
that-
2. And it's the 2 fight to the deaths. So I'm going to introduce... well, actually, let's see. How do you want to do this? Because I can either introduce your cupcakes... and then you can have a good little jolly time explaining. Which I actually will be. It will be the first time for me. I have zero clue of anything that's going on in this show. That Steph has absolutely dived off the deep end. Is completely obsessed.
I feel like I need to take off my clothes. Like,
All right. Well, this is what's happening on Peaches and Suits. We are now Peaches and Porn.
Oh, honestly, no. Do you want to end with Chile? I don't know how you felt.
I don't want to end with them if it's gonna be. I don't know how much I have. Oops, Jesus, get a little excited over here. Maybe I should go first. You tell me. You choose.
No, I'll go. Go on, I'll go. I'll get it off my chest. Right, okay. So I'm watching Hollyoaks again for Summer in Siena, and I'm uploading the story. It is sort of pretty much all on the official Hollyoaks YouTube channel. I think even if you're in America, you can watch it there, but they don't have a playlist or anything. And when they do these storyline edits, they miss out little bits here and there. And like the other day, they were in the episode, but they weren't like one of the main 3 storylines of the episode, so they didn't upload anything. So this is what led me to be like, oh, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go back, and I have from January, and I've uploaded, and I've caught up now just yesterday. Unfortunately, it's blocked in the UK and Ireland, which I knew it would be, because Channel 4 do that. So I'm sorry that I can't recommend it. I am slowly uploading it onto my Daily Motion channel because a few people have asked me that they're missing a few sort of scenes that they'd want to download, maybe, perhaps. So anyhow, so that's the housekeeping.
I'm fitting in here. I'm filling out because they're not on our list. I'm adding them to our spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So they started in 2021. Obviously, there's cheating. Spaghetti Girl. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Spaghetti
Go
Girl.
with that.
And I have in here married a dude. She's not actually marrying him, but they're engaged.
Yes.
And that's all I know.
You can put it there. No. Sienna, people are very excited about the idea that Sienna is obsessed over a woman. She has a very obsessive personality. So
who is Sienna? Which one?
Sienna is the posh sounding one. If that helps
She
you,
is.
long
Her
hair.
voice is.
Oh,
I've only seen one clip. I have literally only seen one clip, and it is something you tweeted. And I listened to her voice, and I went, Jesus, fuck. All
Her
right,
voice
well,
is like,
cool. All right,
Oh my
we're
God.
fine over here.
it's
Jeez.
just, I don't even know how to say it. It's just smooth. I mean, they've sort of referenced it even on the thing, like Summer says about it, her posh accent, because they're up north in England. I like Summer, really thick, accent, but there's Sienna, and she is technically training to be a teacher. She has kind of a little bit of that vibe. But anyway, what can I say? Yeah, both of them are quite obsessive. And as I say, people are very excited that Sienna's now obsessed with a woman. It's very messy how we got there. Sienna was dating this guy for years. anyhow, but she did cheat on him with a man, and that's what I started with. That literally she kissed him and slept with him once, I think. But anyhow, so Summer comes onto the scene, and God, I don't know how much to spoil or anything, but anyway, she kind of has genuine feelings for Sienna's boyfriend, but she but anyhow, he's involved in a plot that basically they killed her dad, Summer's dad, and Brody, that's his name, he threw the first punch. So this comes out, and then now she absolutely hates him. She's still with him, she's getting married to him, but it is all a plot to destroy his life. She's writing a journal.
We do love a plot here.
Yeah, as you do. Someone commented on YouTube the other day, why is she writing this all down in the journal? And all I could say is because it's a soap. But it is great because we get her inner thoughts, which I think are genuine. What she writes in there is genuine, because there's sort of theories about, is Summer playing Sienna or vice versa? But no, I think it's completely genuine. I don't think she really saw it coming. We were sort of let on quite early on that Summer is pansexual, I think. And
Summer's the blonde one.
Yeah, she doesn't label herself.
The non-posh one.
Yeah, the non-posh one. And but it is going to be messy. I've seen some spoilers, and there's possibly some controversial routes, because Summer is, as I say, she's trying to take down her now fiance. It's all a ploy. They haven't even been dating that long, and she's already. Oh my God.
Didn't he propose though? Like, what the fuck?
She asked first.
Oh God.
Yeah, and then he was like, because it is so quick. And anyway, Sienna was still sort of obsessed with him and wanted him back, and she has clocked on what Summer is like, because they have many similarities in personality, and she's
Are they both sociopaths by chance? Is this a Killing Eve storyline?
It's that vibe. It's that vibe. Yeah, it's certainly that vibe. And then she's kind of obsessed with both of them initially, although she wouldn't really admit it, all their similarities. But then obviously Summer starts sort of, it all started because Summer kissed her quickly, and she was like, oh, this is as close as you'll get to kissing Brody again. And Sienna's like, what? It just sort of come out, and there was no spoilers for that. It just happened. So people were like, and
wait,
then
that
the
first
shipping commenced.
Wait, the kiss with the doubles?
No,
that was their first kiss.
No, that was technically the second one.
Mm.
Yeah, this was just a light kiss. They did it cleverly because of the lighting. Yeah, as Kay said, I should say that because of COVID restrictions in England, I say England because it's different for every country in the United Kingdom. They're not allowed to touch. So there's been this whole storyline with no touching somehow.
Well, somebody's touching, because they definitely had two people making out. Yes. And I'm wondering what's the theory here, that you think that it's just a couple, they're like it's an actor couple, so it's like,
yes,
or maybe not even actors, just like some random lesbians you found on the street, and you're like, hey, you guys look kind of like this couple we have on our show, are you willing to like maybe make out on camera for us a little bit?
I do,
but just your mouths, actually, we don't really want your whole body.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, because with those shots with the love scene, Sienna's grabbing Summer's ass, and Summer's hand is on her back, and I'm like, I'm guessing that's the stand-ins. I don't know. Maybe I should zoom in and see if it's really Rhiannon's hand. So yes, they've done it.
That's I lesbian requirement stuff. Obviously, zoom in.
I just think they're amazing. I think they're fucking hilarious. Some of the dialogue is really crazy. I do not know how they're pulling it off. I think Anna and Rhiannon are doing so well. Some of it, and there's bananas and sniffing of boots.
That was so gross. Okay, obviously I've seen more than one scene. No, that's the scene I saw. Actually,
I do not know how she did it. Even acting, even getting paid. But I kind of, it's even more amusing because the boots were actually Sienna's sister's boots that she had. So,
I cannot
to get technical about it. But anyway, no, it's just a fun, hilarious, obsessive ride. And maybe it's because my personality is a bit obsessive that I get it.
We have a podcast about soap operas, Steph. Everybody knows.
No, I just really get it with them. I went back, as Chaos knows, I went back to see the whole story. I was going through all these episodes, because again, I dipped out of Hollyoaks for a bit. So, and I was like, oh my god, oh, poor Chaos is in the sun.
It's so hot.
Right, I'll wrap. No, I'll
Okay.
wrap up
No,
my
no, no.
spiel.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, no, it's hard. I'm terrible at summarizing things. Like we were saying about book reviews, that's kind of like a summary for me, and I'm shit at it.
No,
but
it's good. I think this is pretty good so far. I'm getting an
it's
idea.
it's still ongoing, obviously, but yeah, we all think Hollyoaks have an anniversary coming up in October, and we're. I asked someone on Twitter, when do you think like the wedding day will be? Because this is undoubtedly when all the drama is going to come out. Sienna has been on it, even like on Monday, she was on it. She knows that sometimes she'll find something ridiculous, like a note from Summer's journal saying "destroy Brody," and like Sienna said, it's circled and underlined. Something really, only soaps can get away with this kind of stuff, honestly. And and she questions her. She knows something's up, but then Summer will get out of it, and like this time she used sex again. We all knew she was going to use sex to do that. As soon as she reached for a zip, I was just like, oh my god, because I'm still expecting them to touch, but then it doesn't happen. I can put my glasses back on, because I can't handle them sometimes. The way they look at each other.
Put your clothes back on as well.
I just, oh my god, they're just anyway. I'm all about the eyes because they can't touch. I think their eyes seem super like hyper, like oh my god, the way they look at each other. And they hold it, and I'm like, oh, okay. But
I wonder
the plot,
this COVID restriction. I wonder if there's. It seems like other countries are kind of getting their shit together, and I was reading up on which countries are the most vaccinated. Chile is actually one of the ones that is most vaccinated, but so is your fair little country. So
yeah, like when 21st of June is the possible date for social distancing rules to be lifted here, and that
in
would
general, and including then also recording shows.
Yeah, I'd imagine that includes, they can touch and what have you. But obviously they film like 4 to 6 weeks ahead.
I know, so it's gonna persist. Like maybe the whole storyline is wrapped by now.
Well, as I say, hopefully, if the wedding is in October, I don't think it will. I think it might be before then. But if it is, then yay! They've got to keep Rhiannon on the show. She's doing so fucking good. She's a newbie and everything. Hopefully, she'll be nominated for a National Television Award.
What is which one is she?
The non-posh one. Non-posh one. Well, Anna is... The posh one could also be nominated for a National Television Award. She is just... Anna's fucking amazing. But everybody knows that. People love Sienna, so that's why there's such excitement about this. But Summer, as I say, could take her revenge plan a bit too far for some people, and they might go off her.
Yeah, it's kind of like the way that people don't like Villanelle.
Yeah, she's gonna be bad, and people might actually feel sorry for Brody. Well, some people probably do, and that he doesn't deserve all this or what have you, because that's how Sienna feels. But she doesn't know. I will just say she is not aware of the extent of Summer's revenge plan at all or anything. So that's what I mean by all the drama has to come out, and and soon it looks like Sienna's sister is gonna catch them. And then she's going to go missing. And that will probably be Summer's fault. So she's really getting her hands dirty and everything in more ways than one. But yeah. So I'll end it there. But again, if you're not in the UK or Ireland, I've put it all up, and I will continue to upload because I can't resist, and I'll be in here for the long haul. Hopefully they don't kill Summer. That is not even my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that Sienna will get back with Brody once the drama dies down, which is just horrific, to be honest. But like others have said, though, they've kind of never seen her smile this way and be this, like, she was giddy last week. She was giddy, which was adorable. I didn't expect to get soft with these two, but yeah, there's some fucking cracking lines. Okay. And I will say my favourite bit of the whole story, as anyone who follows me on Twitter will know, is when Sienna lies to Brody and says that she's been looking for her pedometer. They've just had sex. Brody's turned up at the school. Somehow he's laying. And Sienna says, what else would I be doing back there on my hands and knees? And the look on Summer's face is just, I don't know. It's the greatest little smirk I've ever seen, quite possibly. So yeah, I'm really in deep. So yeah, I'm lost. As Chaos said, I'm lost. Uh, you know, just as much as Chaos is. So I said to her, she's in Chile and I'm in Chester.
It's true.
Yeah, like I can't believe how fast this has come upon me. Here we are. But yeah, if Anna Passy wants to do an audiobook, actually, I'd buy it.
Which one is this? I'm really having a hard time keeping track of which one is which.
Anna Passy's the posh one.
Oh, okay. She could do, yes. In fact, I'd really like for her to do an audiobook. I have some suggestions.
Oh, my dog is trying to come into my room. I knew it.
And also, I think it's because we've done this so long that, like, now my girlfriend is up, and so I'm like,
Yeah, my dog
ran to the other room.
Chaos has run to the other room. Right, I'm gonna let Chaos.
So, let's go to Chile. Obviously, as you all know, I have been watching Demente. It's a serial drama, which is also trying to be a thriller. Maybe it is a thriller. I don't really know how to categorize these genres, but it's essentially, it airs Monday through Thursday in Chile, and live stream is available if you subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's the whole premise of the show is that there's a young boy who's like 5 or something, and he is kidnapped in the very first episode. So you basically are following the storyline of the kidnapping and all of the suspects. The main suspects are including this woman, Flavia, and her husband. And basically all of Flavia's family. Flavia is the aunt and godmother of the kidnapped boy. The kidnapped boy basically doesn't mean anything. Everyone's only watching for the lesbians. I do watch the whole show because I like having something to watch that is at least entertaining, and it's really good for me to practice my Spanish. Because it's really also for... So I think I've talked about this before, but like I was educated in Spanish by... it just happened that all of the teachers that I've had were Mexican. And so I only know Mexican slang, and like also I'm in the US, and Mexico is the most close Spanish speaking country to here. And so they're just, anyway, my coworkers are all Mexican. And so anyway, it's been really, it's been fun for me to watch, you know, first with Perdona Nuestros Pecados, because I'm learning Chilean slang. And I think torta is my favorite thing, because it means so many different things in different languages, different Spanish speaking countries. So it's like a sandwich in Mexico. It can be a cake in other places, and it's like slang for dyke. And so anyway, I don't know why I find that one particularly interesting. And there's a scene where Flavia's maid says, "I'm gonna go buy the cake," and she says torta, but like it's also slang for dyke, and I found it so hilarious. I was cracking up, and it's like, maybe it's not actually funny to people of Chile. I don't know if that was intentional, but it was definitely funny to me.
It's true. I thought cake. Yeah, I don't even know when I found out about it.
Yeah, right at this moment. So the background is that Flavia is a middle-aged lesbian who has repressed her sexuality. She married a man maybe 20 to 30 years ago. She has a child with him who is a 20-year-old girl who has a drug problem and has attempted to kill herself. It's all very high...
intensity
drama, intense. It's like angsty, and there's a lot going on, and you know, you feel like emotionally compromised. If you get invested in the characters, you feel it's definitely not as lighthearted and fun as what Steph was describing with Summer and Steve. No, it's seriously like, I mean, the plots and everything, like the people who are scheming and everything, it's very bad. Like, it has a sinister vibe. It doesn't feel at all humorous.
No.
You still don't know who has kidnapped Mateo. Everyone's wondering about that. The main sapphic storyline revolves around this cop. She is a detective in the squad, the team, whatever, who is investigating the kidnapping. And so somehow she gets involved with Flavia through the process of that investigation, and they just recently had sex. And the problem is, for many reasons, one is that both of them are married. Well, not married. Flavia is married to a man, and Javiera has a girlfriend. Turns out the girlfriend's cheating on her as well, so I don't feel too bad about
I don't know why I didn't see that coming.
What do you mean? How?
Oh, the girlfriend cheating as well. I don't know. She seemed that type.
You didn't think so?
I just didn't see. I don't know. As I say, she seems that type, so I don't know why. Yeah.
Interesting. Because there were definitely, I had conversations with other people going back and forth about how, no, she's not cheating this whole time. And then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure she's been cheating. And, you know, even if she weren't cheating, she's a fucking horrible partner. She's horrible. She, like, doesn't treat Javiera with very much respect, and she's always gaslighting her. It's very weird.
I hate that.
There's a specific type of a way that women in relationships with women talk to each other where it's gaslighting. It's like you try to make it seem like what you're saying is totally reasonable. And so the person who's expressing concern or saying that they've been hurt by you feels like they must be crazy. Like, oh,
yeah, it's just an awful thing to do.
It's horrible. It's really an insidious way, and it's kind of like it's a really common way that women, I want to say abuse, but I don't know. It seems like a pretty strong word, but also, it can be a tool of abuse as well. But it's like pretty obvious that this Myra, her younger girlfriend, is just not a good partner for her, or probably for anyone. And there's many theories about why, but like it doesn't matter. I think she's going to be written off the show. I hope she's written off the show.
Good. Yeah.
But Flavia, this is the big thing, and what I was saying, that there's an end to the conversation for me. Why I should go last is because in the previous episode, I want to say it was from Thursday, today's Saturday. I didn't watch it because the Avance showed Flavia being raped, or it alluded to Flavia being raped, and it alluded to Miri, her daughter, also being raped in the same episode. And I was just like, I've got enough trauma. I don't really need to see other people's trauma to like understand that sexual violence against women is real.
It's atrocious.
Yeah. I don't need to see it. You can allude to it, right? Like, I think that everything that was in the Avance was like sufficient. We all knew what was going to happen. It didn't need to be shown. I actually still haven't watched it, so I don't know how much shown it was, but like it was shown more than the Avance. And that's my opinion on that. And I think that the showrunners have different opinions on that, and they're men, and I don't really care about their opinions, and they're never going to listen to this podcast, so I also don't care about that. But like, it is particularly galling to me as a lesbian and like, I don't know, feminist, whatever. This argument that like it's for art, or that like, you know, I think one of the showrunners said something like, just because you don't show the violence doesn't make it stop happening. And I was like, okay, let's talk about art. Like, literally, the rape is just a culmination of all the events of abuse that Flavia has endured. Her husband is physically and emotionally abusive and has been potentially, I don't know, some people are saying he's been drugging her as well. So after all that she has suffered, his escalation of violence against her, now for her to like graphically, like they show it. It's not just that like it's alluded to. To then have her be raped is just I want to say it's unnecessary, and I think it's trauma porn, and I don't care what the showrunners think they're doing with their art. I think it's stupid. I think it's gratuitous.
Wow. I'm sorry to sound really basic, but it's just so sad.
Yeah,
you know,
it is. And I think about the actors too. Like, this is a real woman, right? Patricia Rivadeneira, she's like a real woman. I don't know her history. Obviously, I don't know if she's ever experienced any kind of trauma like that. But why should they have to act that out as well? Like, it's already traumatic enough to allude to it, right? To actually physically go through the whole thing of blocking it out and choreographing it and acting it out. and, you know, maybe many takes of it because you didn't quite get it right. Like, imagining what that must be like is actually horrifying to me enough.
I'm disappointed. But again, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I don't know.
I'm not surprised because they
I
did
don't
the
know
same
what I
thing.
expected. Yeah, at the beginning, when this started, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's taken a different course than I expected or not. But yeah, yeah, it might be too far for me.
Well,
Well,
I
it
do want
is.
to reiterate, I don't think that they shouldn't show violence or they shouldn't show
Not at all.
that like
Yeah.
what Flavia is going through is, again, I think relatable. And one of the interviews that Patricia did before, like right when the show started airing, she was talking about how she really likes the storyline because she does think it's really important and relatable to many middle-aged women who find themselves in relationships that they like kind of thought they didn't have a choice. They ended up in that situation, and the show is supposed to demonstrate that, like, even when you're in your 40s, even when you're 50s, even if you're in your 60s, whatever, or 70s even, I think she says, you know, you have a choice and you can change the direction or course of your life. And I think that that's where the show is going. So I have a little faith based on that interview that
Yeah, it will.
you know,
pick
she'll
up.
have some sort of vindication, right? Like,
Yeah.
this woman
No,
who's been
absolutely.
habitually abused is now gonna find freedom. But my specific issue is about the graphic nature and the way that they've shown it, and how Dante, her husband, who's an abuser, there is no he faces no consequence, right? At this point in the show, I'm not sure if you are as up to date on the show as I am, but at this point in the show, several people around the family, Flavia's siblings, so her sister, brother-in-law, I don't think her actual brother knows yet. The two cops know that she's being physically abused, and nobody is doing anything, right? Like, if the argument is that, like, of course that happens, it's true. It's very common for women who are in a domestic violence, like a relationship with domestic violence. Like, it's not easy to get out of it. It's very hard to get help from outside, and also to find a way to do it yourself to get out of it. That's, like, realistic. I'm totally fine with that. I think it should be shown, whatever. I don't think it needed to be shown that she was getting raped. That's my main point. I think that you can allude to it, and in fact, I think that's more artistic. It shows more creativity if you're able to show it without showing it.
Well, as you say, it's also
Camera
partly just
angles and,
what's
you know, blah,
shown
blah, blah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, there's sort of clever ways of doing it these
Sure.
days and
I mean,
stuff. And
they're fucking kissing without kissing in England. Come on, you can rape without raping. I mean, I know that it's
No,
not actual rape, but, like, you know, in the
It's-
history of show business, it has been, you know, like,
it's just,
Ugh.
I don't know. It's just, I think it's just not what I wanted. It's just not what I wanted. But then maybe the show itself, you know, was never going to be what I wanted.
which is interesting to
personally.
me. I know we've talked about this before, and you weren't quite sure that this level of sort of like pain is quite what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But you like pain. I mean, come
You
on.
know, that's the funny thing. Like, we're having a joke about, like, you know, like Summer and Sienna being like dark and what have you. They're nothing. They're nothing.
Yeah, you
This
literally
is
call
on at,
them
like,
cupcakes. Come on.
6,
I know.
7 o'clock. You know, it's nothing.
This
really,
is a
in comparison to this.
This is a nighttime drama, though. This is not a soap opera per se. Like, I
Yeah.
think that it's important to. This is more like CSI or whatever.
Exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
nighttime drama. It's going to be more graphic.
Yeah.
It's going to be more violent. It's certainly not a daytime soap or an evening soap.
It's different levels, isn't there? That's the interesting thing. That could probably be another, like, bloody episode. It's different types of darkness, and I think, you know, as you say, like Killing Eve, that's the dark shit I like. You know,
Did you watch Dexter?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, Dexter and Killing Eve have that same vibe to me. It's like
Yeah.
you're supposed to root for the bad guy. Or, I mean, you're rooting for the
Yeah. murderer,
right? He's a serial killer.
Yeah.
She's a serial killer.
I think it is, as you say. I think it is maybe that direction towards women, and the you know, that, like, that is not what I want.
It is,
any
yeah.
of the couples we've spoken about today, if they had any of that, I would have been, buy
Yeah.
him out.
That's a good point.
Um,
Yeah, because Dexter was mostly I think he did kill women, but he mostly killed men, and the same with Villanelle. I'm trying to think of like she
yeah,
definitely killed women. I mean, she killed her own mother, didn't she?
I can't even bloody remember,
She
but
did.
well,
I'm
but
almost
she has
positive
killed
she killed her
women.
mother.
But
But yeah,
I'm not.
it's
Yes,
it,
yeah, I
mainly
don't
it's
mind.
killing
No,
men
kill
who
the
are
women.
horrible men.
Oh well, no, kill the women. I have absolutely no problem with that. like, yeah, that sounds really bad. But no,
Kill whoever you want.
It's as I say, it's that domestic, that domestic abuse part of it that I just, even if it's just physical, I just don't. Yeah, I just don't want it. I mean, funny enough, that's like what I said about Summer and the direction she might go with her event. It is kind of going to involve things that are a bit, as I say, sensitive. So, even that for me might be, oh, buy them out, and it's not even directed at any of the women, but I just, yeah, it's just, I don't know, but I'm not saying it shouldn't be on there, as you say, you could switch off, and that's what I've done, that that's why when people get pissed off about even gays or whatever, I'm like, same thing, we'll switch off, don't
Yeah,
have
if
to
you don't
watch
like it,
it.
you don't need to watch it. It's true.
Exactly, even
I
on
didn't.
like
Yeah,
YouTube, like click
exactly.
off,
Or just skip an
go.
episode or so. Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable for
no.
you, that's a good argument. I mean, I think it's true for me, and I'm being realistic. Like, I'm not going to complain about it to the showrunners, especially because I know that they're very sensitive, and I'm sure that they'll have a nice little explanation to me. And I haven't really complained about it too much on Twitter, just because people have different tolerances for these things, and I think
Mm.
it is, after all, art. It is an evening, actually a nighttime show, and like they're able to show whatever they want, honestly, and I don't have to watch it. You're right, I clicked
No, I
off
say it
and
wasn't
I didn't watch
necessarily.
it.
I mean, because some people, as I say, yeah, like different tolerances, and I say we're going to have the same with Hollyoaks in that, and some people were going to be like, no, bye, you know. I don't even know what mine is. I don't even know really. I think it
Hmm.
all depends on the show. Because
I
yeah,
will
I'm not
say,
sure where my bar is.
the violence against Flavia has been escalating. And I have been pretty uncomfortable with it, mostly. For some reason, there was a scene where he choked her, and that was way worse for me as a viewer than the next scene where he like smashes her hand in a door. And I don't
Mm.
know why, for some reason, that was not as jarring to me. But I think it's the intimacy of being like up close in someone's face, and how hateful he was in that moment to her. It felt a little bit more like personal, and I do think it's especially. I keep going on and on. Like, now I should be. I'm not even talking about the lesbians at all. I'm just talking about domestic violence. But like the I think that the violence does play an interesting role in the characters' storyline. I think that it's what brought the characters together to begin with, the sapphic characters. So Javiera is the cop. She's the first person that Flavia trusts with this information that she's being abused. Javiera flies off the handle and goes to confront the husband and makes everything much worse. But it's like we get introduced to the two character types and how they handle these kinds of stressors. And it brings them, after fighting, it brings them closer together, and they end up, I think they're going in the direction of falling in love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Flavia, I don't know, there's a few scenes where she says something like, I'm a grown-ass woman. Like, I'll handle my shit. You don't need to protect me like that. I didn't ask for you to do that. I told you this in confidence. You're fucking everything up. Like, and I like this. I appreciate the dynamic. I appreciate the depth of character for the two women are really interesting to me. Not so much Myra. She's a little pissant. She can go away. But I do think Javiera and Flavia are both really complex characters that are interesting, and I'm excited to learn more about them as the show progresses.
No, but it's as you said, like it should absolutely how can I put it? Like, well, like Patricia said, these stories should be told, and that and as you say, for some people, they might, in as much as you can, like really enjoy what they're trying to do. Well, you know, in part at least, or what have you. And that's why, again, that's another reason why it's good that it's there, you know, because it's not always, you know, hearts and flowers and stuff. And this is a true, you know, story for some people. You know, this is how it is, unfortunately. So I think, yeah. So I just like that. You know, I'm happy. Obviously, it's there and the options there, and as you say, the characters as well. I think it's a different kind. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing very often as well. But again, the things they're having to deal with and the trials and tribulations they have. God,
Again,
you
older
know.
women, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
again, yeah.
I'm doing air quotes. Older. She's like 45.
No, but in a way it is.
Yeah,
I mean, even
like,
to us, you know,
yeah.
it is still, you know.
But also 56. The magic number.
56. Yeah, no, it's I still don't know, as I say, quite how I sort of feel about it, but yeah, maybe you know, it just comes down to that it's not a soap, and maybe that's where I'm at with my gaze. I've got, you know, maybe Killing Eve is like an exception, but even then, I kind of didn't watch all of season 3, as you can tell.
I
But
actually
still love
think
it.
this is good. I think that we should delve into this more. Maybe we should spend an episode kind of exploring the topics of what is a soap opera? What makes a soap opera? Because there are ways in which Killing Eve actually feels like a soap opera to me. Even though,
well, so many shows.
yeah,
So
exactly.
many.
But
Oh
it was
my
just an
God.
example. But I think that
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, this show doesn't feel like a soap opera. Like when I'm watching this, I feel like I'm watching like whatever, some serial drama from the US. Like
Yeah, I
it
know.
feels much like any kind of cop show. SVU, like Law and Order SVU or like whatever.
Yeah. No, it's
because it's
that's its whole
so
look. And that's not for me. Like, it don't gaze or not, it doesn't
I like
matter.
it.
Like, you know, and so maybe I was expecting too much of it because it's like Stephanie, this isn't your show.
No,
This
it's
was
not
never
gonna
going to
be your-
never going to be your show.
No.
What are you doing? You don't watch any of those anyway. I don't
Oh.
even watch the 10 million British crime dramas that exist. you know,
I'm so
so
sad. But
so
more
it
Flavia
is-
for me.
but yeah, you know, that's what I do feel bad. Yeah, it's always sad when we're not on the same train.
That's okay.
But it happens. It's allowed.
I this is one of those things. You're a very important person in my life, and I vicariously enjoy your enjoyment of things. So
Oh well, it's same for me exactly. Yeah, that's why I can just listen to chaos pop off. You know, about things. Yeah, no, it's true. Right. That wow.
this is 2 hours and a half. I think we're
Oh
gonna
my
split this
God.
one for
We're
sure.
definitely going to split it.
We'll figure out what to do.
We'll figure out what to do. I know. It's my fault because, like I say, I still didn't know, how are we going to do this? And then, I don't know. Sometimes I speak before I think,
Honestly,
obviously.
we jumped right into this and no
Yeah.
planning. So
Yeah.
thanks for listening. And
Thank
we're
you.
going to come back again, probably who knows when.
Yeah. And who knows with what about?
We have so
we'll have
many.
to-
We have to bring out our master list and go back over what were our other topics. We got very excited about this
Yeah.
soap lesbian history.
Bounce.
Yeah, which has lasted now 3 to 4 episodes.
Yeah.
We have many interesting topics left. We haven't run out yet, so stay tuned. If you'd like to contact us, if you'd like to share any information, feedback, or if you want to yell at us about, I don't know, anything, share your enthusiasm or agree with me because I'm definitely right about most things.
So I roll my eyes when no one can hear me.
Although we really didn't the whole Maite is a top thing. I feel like I kind of petered out on that one. I'm not going to make that argument. I don't really care.
I'm sure they'll come up again anyway.
Let us bookmark
All of
though. I
these.
do want to bookmark Gigi and Bet. We are going to talk about them.
Well, yeah, no, that's a given. And yeah, if some other non-soap shows come up, you know, it's hard sometimes to skip around them.
Well, the L Word is a soap opera. Come on. Anyway,
Again,
so I forgot to say how you contact us. If you're interested in contacting us, please drop us an email at peachesandsuits@gmail.com, all spelled out, peachesandsuits@gmail.com. Gmail.com. And as always, on Twitter, we have me at Shippy Chaos.
And me at Steph TWTC. All I tweet about at the moment is K-pop and Summer in Siena. So
tune in for Summer in Siena. It's good. That's how I'm getting my content, is Steph's Twitter.
Yeah. So I might even make an edit. I might even go that far.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a song that Summer brought up by Girls Aloud that I
Yes.
might use if I can as crack. It might have to be a crack one. But we'll see. Anyhow,
I support this.
But yes, you can catch us there. Yeah. If you want more of the same.
Well, it's been fun. Thanks for following us on this journey. And we'll see you whenever we see you.
We'll see you when we see you. I feel like I say that every time. Bye. Oh,